Seriously? Hey guys, 6 Plus Stevo here with another video for you. Before we start, I better say if I'm sounding a little bit off today, it's because after my recent victory against Chaos, Papa Nurgle has decided to send me one of his blessings, and it's a particularly nasty one. I am dosed up with a hideous case of man flu at the moment, so if I'm sounding a little bunged up on this video, I do apologise. But I did want to release a video and talk a little bit anyway. As you probably guessed by the title, this video is going to be talking about hit modifiers, and in particular hit modifiers in the shooting phase. And are they unfair towards the Orks? Hit modifiers on the whole I think are really cool. They're a great addition to the game, and they work really well. You've got things like flyers. Most of the flyers in the game there's a -1 to hit, and that makes sense. Obviously a jet or a spaceship, zooming around or whatever it is, flying around in the air is going to be much harder to hit than an infantryman or a tank or anything, and that's really cool. Also, you've got negative hit modifiers for things like if you advance with assault weaponry, you're at -1. If you move with a heavy weapon, you're at -1 to hit, and all things like that make sense, and they force you to consider your actions in game, whether you should stay still, get that accuracy, whether you're trying to get into combat, you're going to lose a bit of accuracy, and it's fluffy with the weapons concerned. Obviously, if someone's firing a missile launcher or something like that, a big heavy caliber weapon that you're going to want to crouch down, aim carefully, it makes sense and it works really well. The trouble is, for the Orks are, across the board, for the most part, ballistic skill 5+, which I have no issue with. It fits the fluff of the army, it fits the character of them. I've seen on some comments on other videos and things, especially with the new codex coming up, people sort of asking for Orks to be 4+ ballistic skill. I don't want that. I don't think just because you want something to be better, just making it better is not a good enough reason. I love the Orks and I collect the Orks and I want the Orks to do well and I want the Orks to be strong, but I don't want them to be more accurate because it doesn't fit them. That's not what they're about. I want them to have a shitload more shots, so they do still have a chance to hit stuff. Oh, curse you, Nurgle. Bloody hell. Excuse me. So yeah, I don't want that. Orcs should be ballistic skill 5 for the most part, barring like special war gear and things like that. The problem comes with hit modifiers and Orks though is when it happens to such a degree that the Orks can no longer hit at all. So for example, you've got a mob of shooter boys. They advance with their assault weaponry, they're at -1, so now they're hitting on 6s. But let's say they're shooting at a flyer that is also a -1. Now they're not hitting at all, and I don't think that's fair. I don't think that's right. Now, yeah, that they shouldn't be. They should have a modifier. It should be hard for them to hit. Obviously, I have no issue with that. But not being able to hit at all is, one, in my opinion, not fair, as I've already stated. Two, it's not realistic. It shouldn't really matter how fast something's moving, or how evasive it is, or whatever its other ability is that gives it this -1 to hit. It also shouldn't matter how inaccurate the fire is, because there should always be a chance at hitting something. If you have a small target and you throw something at it or you shoot something at it, it doesn't matter how poor at aim you are or how much that target's moving, you always stand a chance at hitting it. The chance might be small, might be minuscule, but there is a chance there. Now, a big mob of 30 boys all firing their guns in the air and firing at something really fast moving while they're running, agreed, the chances of them hitting it are minimal. But with that many shots firing wildly into the air at whatever it is, something's going to hit. So how do you get around this? Well, I think, and disclaimer, this is just my opinion, many people may disagree, but it's my video, so tough. But if you do disagree or you do agree, put in the comments, by all means, get a discussion going. That's what these videos are about. I think it could be fixed quite quickly in the same way that in chapter approved or something like that, or an FAQ or Erratta or whatever, in the same way that a 1 always fails. When you roll the dice, a 1 always fails. So you've got, say, Terminators, 2+ armor save. If they're in cover, they get a +1 to their armor save. That doesn't mean if they roll a 1 that it bounces off the armor. If you roll a 1, it's still a fail. But it just works. Say you're firing them at something with AP 1, they're in cover, they're still going to get their 2+ because they've gone to 1+, and then you're firing an AP 1, so you've reduced them down to 2+. So they still get the benefit of the cover, but not to the extent where they get literally a 1+ armor save, because that would be absurd. And I think that should probably work the other way round as well. I think a 6 should always be a success. I don't know whether that would extend to other things. I can't really think of anything else, across the board in the game. A 6 would always hit, regardless. A 1 will always miss, regardless of modifiers. And I personally think that is the quickest, easiest fix for it. Because I don't think we should get rid of hit modifiers. I don't think the hit modifiers should be changed in any way. I think they work. I just think a flat rule saying a 6 always hits, regardless of modifiers. A 1 always fails, regardless of modifiers. And that's a quick, simple fix, in my opinion. And I don't think that would make it unfair or biased towards the Orks in any way. The Orks, let's face it, they're not hitting with most of their shots at the best of times. If they stand still and aim with all their brain power and all the composure an Ork can muster, they still ain't gonna hit shit. That's not what Orks are about. But I think taking it to the extent where it's literally impossible for them to hit is too much. Because there are some shooty armies out there, Ork armies. I try and make my army fairly shooty. I'm basing it on Bad Moons. Bad Moons is my favourite clan. I like the character of it. It's not the most competitive clan, at the moment at least. But I like having a good shooting, and I think there is the ability there with the Codex coming out. If I'll get a little off topic now, I'm venturing into Codex territory again, but sod it. I think there is the ability there to make a shooty Ork army a viable competitive option without making them accurate. And the way you do that is you just up the amount of shots. More Dakka. It doesn't matter if they're only hitting a third of the time on 5+ and 6+. If you throw enough shit at the wall, something's gonna stick. But yeah, anyway, that's my thoughts on hit modifiers and how it affects the Orks a little bit harshly, in my opinion, and how it could be fixed. But what are your thoughts on it? Please share in the comments below. And just to hit modifiers in general and how they affect certain weapons. Just before I finish this video, actually, something else has popped into my head, and it doesn't really affect me that much. It's plasma weaponry and gets hot weaponry. I do have 1 or 2 custom mega blasters in my army, so I suppose it would affect me a little bit. But the gets hot rule, in my opinion, my humble opinion, I don't think that should be affected by hit modifiers either. Because what is a hit modifier? A hit modifier is representing that something's hard to hit. It's moving fast, or it's got some sort of psychic ability, or it's evasive and leaping all over the place, so it's hard to hit. I get that. That's cool, but why on earth would that make the plasma weaponry more at risk of overheating? It wouldn't. It wouldn't have any effect on that. And I know that if with these hit modifiers, they affect the gets hot rule. So now if you roll a 2, it will get hot and cause a mortal wound, or whatever it does. To me, again, that doesn't really work. It's just wrong. Because you're shooting at a plane would have no effect at whether your plasma gun gets hot over shooting at a tank. I don't think there's any need to change that. I think it should just be, if you roll a 1, it gets hot and you suffer the consequences. The hit modifiers, in my opinion, shouldn't make any difference to the actual effects of the weaponry itself. But again, that's just my thoughts. Share your thoughts below. Anyway, I'm at risk of going off topic again and rambling on, so I'm going to bring this video to a close. I've said it about 5 times already, but go easy on me. Nurgle's bless me. Share your thoughts below. Please give me a thumbs up. If you haven't already, please subscribe. Hit that bell icon, because I've got lots more videos planned coming up in the near future. And this is 6+ Stevo, signing out.